UFC Vegas 27, Font versus Garbrandt. This is the weigh-in recap, predictions, and the full card betting preview. Exciting main event between top bantamweights, co-main event. You got some good names in that women's strawweight division. The winner's probably next for the world title. Throughout this card, have some other notable names, have some intriguing matchups, some UFC debuts, some UFC returns. Damir Ismagulov, one of them making their return. High excitement for Damir Ismagulov. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Goal on this video is going to be 90 likes. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here too. And without further ado, let's start it off. The first fight of the night, Damir Ismagulov versus Rafael Alves. Alves actually looked really good on the Contender Series, and for them to throw him this monster in his UFC debut, that's going to be tough. With Damir Ismagulov, if you haven't seen him fight before, he's a very technical striker. He's patient. He has good boxing skills too, and he definitely likes that punching range. And he does mix in some kicks to the legs, which I think really help open up the strikes with the punching. On the other side, Rafael Alves is a solid striker for sure. Thai style, and everything is power. This guy throws insane. Like, he throws pop in every shot almost that he'll throw. He'll come forward with that pressure style, and he will look to get in close and mix it up. Unusual attack for sure. Decent ground game too. Rafael Alves, if he wasn't fighting Damir Ismagulov, I mean, a normal UFC debut matchup, he'd probably be winning. He's probably somebody that will be in the UFC as a fun name to watch for a bit. Coming up from 145 to 155, let's pull up the images from the weigh-ins. Let's see how they looked facing off next to one another. You see Ismagulov there. You see Rafael Alves. Slight height advantage for Damir Ismagulov. Rafael Alves, the shorter of the two, the naturally smaller guy. Hopefully we have MMA Junkie stop killing us with these ads and glitching us out. They got us moving. That's what MMA Junkie does. They swarm you with ads on the site. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. But they both look good on the scales. The scale is not going to change my prediction for this fight. Damir Ismagulov is going to work towards a dominant, unanimous decision. But Alves has power. And if he landed something big, he could pull off a crazy knockout. But is that likely? I would say extraordinarily unlikely. But at the end of the day, it's MMA, and anything can happen when the cage door closes. Let's find out what the odds. I mean, man, Ismagulov's at the minus 500. Now the price tag has gotten massive. Fight goes the distance. I do kind of like, because Ismagulov's known as winning decisions, but with the style of Alves and him being the smaller guy, always looking for big strikes, he could be out of position and get caught and eventually finished. Maybe you like the fight goes the distance at minus 160. I don't love it, to be 100% honest with you guys. If you want to put Ismagulov as a parlay piece, I definitely think he's a lock pickup. Alves by TKO plus 1,200. That's interesting. It's very unlikely he pulls off a victory in this fight, like extremely unlikely in my opinion. At plus 1,200, I mean, the odds are very good, but I don't think necessarily there's much value in that bet, because I just think he's completely outclassed here. You got a guy in Ismagulov who dominated Thiago Moises, and Moises has now become a fairly notable lightweight who's fighting Islam Makhachev, the number 10 guy in the world. But let's get to the next fight of the night. Yancy Medeiros, our boy Yancy, back in action. Damir Hadzovic. High stakes matchup. I think loser leaves town potentially, or at least for Yancy. 3 fights in a row, 33 years of age. I mean, Damir's 34. The loser is seriously set back, and I think could be released from the UFC, in my opinion. Definitely could be released. With Yancy, rangy striker with that good boxing, has trained with the Nick Diaz team, so of course, you see a little Nick Diaz-esque style in him. Not exactly the same, obviously, but comes forward, looks to mix it up on the feet. On the other side, Thai style striking, Damir hittable in the boxing range. That's something I don't like. He does have that pressure forward style, and it can overwhelm some guys. I like Yancy Medeiros because of the reach advantage and the boxing advantage. I do believe Ismagulov may look to get this fight to the ground. I think Yancy's capable enough when he gets there. I like the underdog Yancy Medeiros to win this fight. I think he beats Damir Ismagulov. I could see it going all 3 rounds in a competitive bout. I could see him catching him with something, but less likely that he does that. Damir Hadzovic, not Damir Ismagulov. Lost to Renato Moicano, lost to Yagos, but he does have, a couple of wins in the UFC. Recently, though, the losses for Yancy, 3 years ago, he lost, and then, it's just been downhill. He lost to Cowboy, to Gillespie, and Lando. But Cowboy 3 years ago, that's a forgivable loss. Lando looked really good at 45. I don't have supreme confidence in Yancy Medeiros as far as the betting lines go. If you want to play him with a riskier dog bet, I dog or pass this fight here. I'm picking Yancy to win this fight by a decision, but I'm not supreme confidence here because he's not looked great as of late. Plus 115, you can find him at. Over 1.5 rounds at minus 240, I do think is actually a really good play if you guys are looking for something that's safe on this fight. Fight goes the distance, definitely could happen, but it could not happen as well. But I think the over in 1.5 here is my money play. If you're asking me to bet on this fight and you don't want to bet Yancy the dog, I think bet the over 1.5. I think that's pretty much a lock pick between both these guys here. I don't see Yancy knocking them out in 30 seconds. I don't see Yancy knocking them out really unless it was late in the second or third. And I don't necessarily think Hadzovic has the power to put away Yancy Medeiros either. Let's check them out at the weigh-ins. Both in good shape. Let's get the face off here. Yancy and Damir Hadzovic. Hadzovic looks in incredible shape. Yancy looks as he always does. Thin guy, but not in bad shape either. Has the abs there. The physique doesn't tell all. I don't think the physique really matters in this matchup. I'm going with the dog, Yancy Medeiros, but he's in for a really tough fight against Damir Hadzovic. Loser leaves town, in my opinion. The next fight, David Vorak versus Juan Camillo Ronderos. So this fight was literally like right now. They made it like today. I did some research on this Juan Camillo Ronderos guy. He's a hot prospect. Beat Eric Shelton. If you guys don't remember Shelton, he was on The Ultimate Fighter. He did lose to Tim Elliott on that season. Decent fighter. He won that fight by a split decision. Eric Shelton by a split decision does not equal fighting David Vorak normally, but on short notice, you take advantage of the opportunities. I have a ton of respect for Juan Camillo Ronderos for stepping in against David Vorak, who is on his way to being a flyweight contender. David Vorak is going to control distance from the outside. I do think Camillo is going to look to wrestle a bit here. Doubtful that he'll have the gas tank, so I think he is going to come out hard and look to finish Dvorak, which is just a terrible game plan to do against David Dvorak because he's such a patient fighter and he takes his time. Look for Dvorak with a late TKO in this matchup. I think he'll put Camillo down maybe in that third round, but could also see a decision win. Either way, I don't necessarily know if Camillo's going to be ready for that distance. He missed weight as well. He definitely was not. He's not going to be in the best possible fight shape. He's definitely going to be in decent shape, and he's not a heavyweight. He's a fighter that fights at 125. I think their cardio is always pretty decent. I see Dvorak late TKO or Dvorak winning by a decision. Dvorak is a lock pick here. The odds are very widespread. Minus 505. Dvorak now becomes a lock play. There's no props even out right now. I'm so disappointed we don't get to see the Paiva fight. That out of all the fights on the card, I might have been most excited for that fight because I'm a huge fan of the flyweight division. But I think Juan Camillo Ronderos is somebody to keep an eye on, but he's not winning. He's not beating David Dvorak. It's just not happening. We're going David Dvorak win, late TKO or decision here. Put him on your parlays at minus 505. Is there value in the dog Juan Camillo? I don't see him beating David Dvorak. If he was fighting like a lesser quality guy at flyweight, I actually think Juan Camillo might be UFC caliber, at least just, good enough to be in the UFC, but he's not good enough to beat David Dvorak. Dvorak wins this fight. Let's see if they even have any images from face-off. Yeah, they do. They do. Big height difference. They said 5'3". He looks about 5'1" to 5'6" here. There's going to be a technical display on the feet, but got to respect Juan Camillo Ronderos for taking the fight, man. Absolute respect to the Savage for taking the fight. Let's get to the next fight of the night. All right, we're down to Joshua Kulabayo versus Shaylan Nuredanbieke. That is one of the hardest names to pronounce, but we're just going to call him Shaylan. Josh Kulabayo, a guy that I think is pretty fun to watch. He proved that in his fight against Charles Jourdain. He's a good striker with some power in the hands. He's explosive. He has good kickboxing from that kickboxing range. He likes to stay at distance and mix it up with those kicks. Does mix up the stances too, which I think is a very valuable asset. Yilan Shah, solid striker with decent hands. Wide stance from what I've seen, and definitely a traditionalist martial arts background. And he's also a decent grappler too. Still though, in this fight here, it's going to be a different level. I think Josh Kulabayo wins this fight. He should pick up a dominant, unanimous decision here, or maybe even a finish. I don't see Shalian winning this fight against Josh Kulabayo. So we're going Josh to win it. Let's check off this face-off. Both guys in very good shape, though. I mean, both guys look incredible on the scale. So I do expect Shalian to be in this fight and give his absolute best out there. And I don't think he'll have a terrible performance even in a loss, but he's just not going to win this fight here against Kulabayo. Josh Culibao minus 245, I think is a decent play. Over 1.5, I also think is a decent play here, but could be risky because Culibao does have some pop in the hands. Let's see. Well, what do you got? He's got all knockouts. And not all knockouts, but he's got a lot of knockouts outside of the UFC. He has been knocked out himself, but that fight against Charles Jourdain really rose his stock a lot. I think over 1.5 minus 310. Culibao just to win straight. I don't know about fight goes the distance here. I'm torn on that one, so I don't necessarily love it, especially if Yilan Shahbazian comes to really mix it up, which I definitely think there's possibility he does. And he could get caught doing that. He could get knocked out. Riding Culibao, minus 260. I think he might be worth a parlay play in this matchup here. Next fight of the night, Victor Rodriguez and Bruno Silva. So excited to see Bruno Silva back in action. He's had good performances in defeat. Tagir Ulanbekov, he gave him a tough fight. Beats JP Buys. He was not supposed to win. Lost to David Vorak. There's no shame there. On the other side, Rodriguez got knocked out bad in his UFC debut against Adrian Yanez. Bruno Silva's good everywhere, but he's really physically strong. His wrestling is solid. His jiu-jitsu is good. He's got power in the punches. I would say he's a pretty good kickboxer, and he's also really athletic and fast. On the other side, Rodriguez, decent striker who mixes up the stances. From what I've seen, he likes to clinch up close distance, and he does like to throw overhands from the outside, though, sometimes setting up that clinch with the overhand. Silva dominates here. I think knockout round 2 for Bruno Silva. I think he's going to put it on Victor Rodriguez. And Bruno Silva is somebody to watch. I think he could be a staple flyweight, not contender necessarily, but a guy that sticks around for a fair amount of time here, and I think he's pretty good. So I'm going to be riding Bruno Silva. Victor Rodriguez, 125.5. I believe his last fight, though, was at bantamweight. I want to double-check that, but I want to look at one more thing. Yeah, he fights at bantamweight a fair amount, so he's actually fought up at featherweight, and he's coming down. The weight cut normally is not a good thing to come down, especially, I think he's, 32? No, 28, man. Victor Rodriguez looks a bit old, but 28 years of age, so it could be the right move to 25. Still don't see him beating Silva in this matchup. There's Rodriguez. There's Bruno Silva. They face off. Got to ride with Bruno Silva to win this fight by knockout second round. Let's see where the odds are at here. Obviously, he's a pretty strong favorite. Over 1.5 rounds, minus 135. Could be risky. I like Silva wins by TKO prop plus 130, but where's the Silva wins inside the distance? Minus 135, don't like it. I like the plus money at the plus 130 for Silva wins by knockout. Not feeling Rodriguez for the upset. I think it's extraordinarily unlikely here. Fight does not go the distance, minus 225. I don't love it. I think if you're going to be playing props on this fight, play your boy Bruno Silva, or you play Bruno Silva straight on a parlay at minus 375. That's my take on him, but I think he definitely gets the win here over Victor Rodriguez. All right, the next fight of the night, Claudio Silva versus Court McGee. Man, Claudio Silva did not look good on the feet against James Krause. I think you guys can all agree he looked bad against James Krause on the feet, but he did give James Krause a fairly tough fight, and James Krause is pretty decent. Had a win streak going, was unbeaten for plenty of years. He's 14-2. His record's fantastic. He's 38, and I don't see him becoming a contender in the welterweight division. He's more at the Court McGee level. McGee's got 3 straight losses, though. I think Court McGee, though, can come out and surprise us. I don't necessarily think Claudio Silva can compete striking-wise with Court McGee, who's very gritty, has a solid chin, definitely takes a good shot. And he likes to close distance and let those punches fly. With Claudio, you got a sloppy striker. He's okay with striking, obviously, but not very good. The chin's a bit high, but on the ground, he's extremely dangerous. Court McGee's not an easy guy to control on the ground. Sean Brady, who's a top prospect at welterweight, was unable to finish him. See, that fight was 2 fights ago for him. And, I mean, nobody's putting him out in a fairly long time. His last 5. He went the distance with Sean Strickland, who's got dynamite in his fist, who's got some real pop. I'm going to go Court McGee upset to win this fight. Or actually, no, now he's the favorite. The odds have shifted. Earlier in the week, this was a dog pick. But, yeah, we're riding Court McGee to win, though. I think Court McGee should put on a good display. I think he should probably win this fight by a decision. I think he'll beat Silva on the feet, fend off the takedowns. He may even get a late TKO here, to be 100% honest. I think Court McGee play is good to go. Not feeling an aging Claudio Silva. Very unlikely he comes out there and looks fantastic. I don't really think there's much of a chance of it. McGee wins by TKO is plus 540. McGee by submission plus 580. I guess McGee by TKO plus 540 isn't terrible, but on the side of Claudio Silva. I do got to respect the chin. We have seen a pretty decent chin. Fight goes, the distance play is -155. That's okay. I more like to straight bet on Court McGee as a very slight pick'em's favorite here. Or if you want to play Court McGee to win by a decision, you can get it +180. I would rather just bet on Court McGee straight than risk it with the props in this one. Maybe you parlay Court McGee up in one of your riskier plays. But he definitely should beat an aging Claudio Silva here. Let's see them at the face-offs. It's not like Claudio Silva looks terrible, though. For 38, he's in good shape. It's just I don't think that he wins the fight. Definitely don't. We're getting swarmed with ads by Bellator here. So make sure you guys tune into that Bellator event. If you're watching this on Friday, I'll be doing a full live stream play-by-play for it. But if you're watching after the Bellator event, hopefully you did watch and enjoyed it. I just don't like all these ads coming up on the screen, man. All right, let's get to the next fight of the night. Matchup here. Ben Rothwell, Chris Barnett. This is our featured prelim, ladies and gentlemen. This is the prelim we all have been waiting for. No, not really. But we do like watching Ben Rothwell fight here over at MMA Experts. I enjoy him. I like Chris Barnett too, just like as a hardcore fan. If you remember like Ugly Bear, the name, it was always like, oh, I wonder if he'll one day make it to the UFC. This crazy super heavyweight that actually was athletic and doing crazy spinning kicks and stuff. But we've learned he's not really at that level in some of his losses. He's okay with the striking. We'll throw that wild stuff. On the ground, though, he's pretty decent. Does compete in jiu-jitsu regularly. Has good jiu-jitsu. But Ben Rothwell is way too big for him. 5'9" to 6'3". Ben Rothwell's really unorthodox on the feet. He's got a solid chin. It's not like we're seeing Rothwell get knocked out left and right. If he was getting knocked out left and right, I'd be like, hey, maybe Chris Barnett's got the puncher's chance. I don't think he does. I think Ben Rothwell can actually get the knockout over Chris Barnett here. 39 years of age, Rothwell, older guy, but at heavyweight, sometimes you find yourself in your prime at 39. I don't necessarily think Rothwell's in his prime anymore, but I still think he beats a guy like Chris Barnett. He's so much bigger, so much longer. Every advantage goes his way. He wins this fight. Ben Rothwell, I think he gets a TKO of Chris Barnett. Looking at the face-off here between these two, this Ugly Bear, he's lost a ton of weight. I got to give this man his due respect. He's lost an absolute ton of weight, but he's so much shorter. Look at this height difference, guys. Look at this height difference. He's not going to be able to mix it up out there. I think also the faster puncher is Ben Rothwell. Not that Rothwell is the best boxer of all time. He's extremely awkward. But I think Ben Rothwell does win this fight. If you're looking for some plays here, what do I like? Fight starts round 2. I'm going to tell you why I like that one. Because Ben Rothwell has been winning fights later on. I think his fight with Stefan Struve, he was on the way to lose that fight, but he hit Struve right in the sack. Late second round. The fight in this matchup could be that over 1.5 play. Yeah, you got some finishes here. His last fight was against a debuting guy. I hate seeing when fighters have fought a debuting guy in their most recent fight. I mean, he hasn't been fighting high-level competition, and now you're going to fight Ben Rothwell. It's just not going to work out well. It just usually does not. Rothwell TKO +110. I think the fight starts second round play might have some value here, like underrated value, because I do think Chris Barnett might be good enough to go around with Ben Rothwell. I think he might be good enough to go all 3, but I think Ben Rothwell dominates this fight. Barnett by a submission, that's crazy. +1,800. Can you imagine you play that and he gets a tap? He's not tapping Rothwell. Rothwell by a submission at +700 surprises me. Inside the distance, Rothwell -125, -111, depending where the hell you're at. Not loving any of the props. I'm liking the fight starts round number 2, or if you want a higher risk one, bigger reward, the -140 for over 1.5. But I like fight starts round 2. So I like the fight going 5 minutes. I think that's what I can assure for this matchup. But I don't love the play on it at all. Ben Rothwell -345. He's a decent parlay pickup. But at the end of the day, it's heavyweight MMA. It's guys who are not extremely high level, especially Ben Rothwell pushing up to 40 as well. That's going to be scary to bet on. Chris Barnett, excited for his debut, but not expecting a ton out of him. But I do hope that we have a fun fight between these two. I'm riding Ben Rothwell for the victory. Let's get to the next fight, and it's the first fight on the main card. So if you guys have not yet, smash the like button. As I said, goal on this video, 90 likes. I think we could smash past it. So smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe too. Jack Hermansson, Shahbazian. Oh my goodness, this should be the co-main event. Why is this not the co-main event? I don't know. I really don't know why this isn't the co-main event because it's high stakes for both middleweights. On the side of Shahbazian, besides losing to Derek Brunson, this guy's looked really good. Jack Hermansson's taken a couple losses against some of the top guys in the world. You look at the recent losses, Marvin Vettori decision, no shame. He beat Kelvin Gastelum by a heel hook, kind of a weird situation, but he still got that heel hook in. And Jared Cannonier he lost to by TKO. Edmund Shahbazian is a finisher. He's not the best grappler of all time. We saw Derek Brunson get some control of him and put a beating on him. But the reason Brunson had success with the grappling in that fight and had success putting Shahbazian down is because he's a dynamite puncher. Derek Brunson can strike. Derek Brunson is a good striker. He might not be the best striker in the division, but he's definitely good, and he has that power threat. Shahbazian is just 23. He didn't have that old man strength for Derek Brunson. Jack Hermansson is not the same style of grappler as Derek Brunson, a lot more submission-orientated, not as physically strong, and doesn't have the explosiveness at all. Edmund Shahbazian technically superior to Jack Hermansson on the feet by a fair amount, in my opinion, and I think that is what we're going to see. We're going to see the striking skill set on display of Shahbazian. He's going to fend off takedowns. He's a dog pickup. I think that has value. Edmund Shahbazian knockout round number 2. I love Jack Hermansson, so if I was wrong here, I wouldn't necessarily be all that upset, more be disappointed for my wallet. But I think Edmund Shahbazian, dog of the week pickup. I am playing Shahbazian dog play at plus 135. And because it's Edmund Shahbazian, and how else does he usually win his knockout? Maybe you play him at plus 285. Edmund Shahbazian KO here. I'm really excited for this fight, guys. I cannot wait to see it. Hermansson by submission is plus 200, plus 400. I mean, if you want to save your ass on the back end, maybe you sprinkle a Hermansson submission because that's probably how he wins the fight. But I think Shahbazian by KO is a good play. And I think he gets it done. Let's check out the weigh-ins. There's our boy Shahbazian. There's Hermansson. Both look good on the scale. It's a competitive matchup for sure. And I think that Edmund Shahbazian is going to have the performance he needs. He's extremely young. And I think he's got a bright future. Excuse me. Win or lose, he has a bright future. But I do think he can beat Jack Hermansson here. Hermansson's a tricky fight, and Hermansson has a path to victory, especially getting the fight to the ground. But I think Shahbazian's going to knock him out and win this fight in the second round. I'm going Shahbazian. Dog play over Jack the Joker Hermansson. Next fight is Bill Algeo and Ricardo Hamosh. I'm really excited for this fight, guys. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Ricardo Hamosh, to me, is like a young Charles Oliveira. The guy has a ton of potential. I see a good skill set. I see like a fighter that could actually like be good at the featherweight division. Maybe he's got to move up to 155. We'll see. I don't want to compare him to Charles, though, obviously, because Charles Oliveira has found so much success at the highest level. But Ricardo Hamosh is a good kickboxer with dangerous Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills. He does like awkward techniques, which sometimes are just ineffective, like this behind the front leg back leg kick that he was throwing in his last fight was irritating me watching because I'm like, why are you throwing that? Just throw a basic low kick. If he sticks to like technical martial arts and he does what he's supposed to, he fights relaxed and calm, he wins this fight against Bill Algeo. But I'm fearful that he won't. Algeo on the other side, rangy striker, likes those hands low, but does have some good range control in kickboxing. You cannot doubt Bill Algeo. He's also decent on the ground. Beats Spike Carlisle. I will say this. Let's look at this. Let's look at them face off first. Slight height advantage in favor of Algeo. I'm not extremely impressed by Hamosh's physicality, but granted, it's not about the physique. I feel like Hamosh has all the potential to win this fight, but it is really hard to supremely confident pick him. I'm going to play Hamosh if he fights to the best of his ability. I'm fearful he will not, so be very cautious if you are playing a bet on this one. Let's see what has value in the props here, because I do think we can find some valuable props. Where is the Hamosh fight? There it is. Okay, over 1.5, minus 345. Maybe we play that. Fight goes the distance, minus 175. Not loving it. I think both of them could get a finish. Hamosh, the submission man, plus 500 for submission. Okay, a Hail Mary parlay play, or excuse me, prop play, a Hail Mary prop would be Hamosh by a submission in this fight, beating Bill Algeo. At plus 500, I'll lean you towards that if you're looking to bet on this fight. Maybe you bet the plus 100 dog Hamosh straight, but I am concerned with the fight IQ. Even though he has the technical skills, in my opinion, to beat Algeo, will he fight to his level? He's only 25, and 25-year-olds do a lot of stupid shit inside of the fighting game. You're developing, you're still learning, and you're going to make technical mistakes, and that's why Lerone Murphy got the win over him. But I still think Hamosh can do some fairly good work. He does have some losses, but I mean, not bad competition. Nurmagomedov and Lerone Murphy, who was unbeaten. And he's got some wins there, too. I think we could see a submission for Hamosh. Maybe a sprinkle the prop. Don't love a play on this fight, even on our dog in Ricardo Hamosh. I totally understand the bet on Algeo as well, which is why maybe smart money is on Bill Algeo winning this fight. At the end of the day, he's definitely got the better fight IQ of the two, even if I feel like Hamosh has the skill set to win. I'm not going to jump on the pick change because if it goes the other way, I'll really be biting myself, or kicking myself, rather. But I think maybe you pass on Hamosh or you just sprinkle the prop knockout because I'm not loving the pick of him, but I do think he can get it done. So we're going to go Hamosh, but I'm feeling something in my gut, nervous about this one. The next one is Felicia Spencer versus Norma Dumont here. Okay, Felicia Spencer on the ground is extremely good, heavy on top, good submission game. She went the distance with Cyborg and Amanda Nunes. Norma Dumont on the other side got knocked out in the first round by Megan Anderson. She beat Ashley Evans-Smith on an okay decision 5 months ago. She's in for a mismatch here. I think Felicia Spencer controls her everywhere. She's the superior fighter of the two, the naturally bigger boned fighter, just thicker. We can look at the weigh-ins here. Felicia Spencer, just a bit thicker frame, if you know what I'm talking about, from shoulder to shoulder. It doesn't look like it as much there, but I do think Spencer is naturally a bit thicker. I think she's going to have the advantage when they hit the floor. Felicia Spencer's striking isn't great, but she's got a decent chin on her, and I think she takes a decent shot, even though Norma Dumont, I do think, is the better striker of the two. I am going to be riding with Felicia Spencer to win this fight, and I think she wins this fight by a submission in the second round or a TKO. I could see that as well. Could see a grinding decision too. I just like the Felicia Spencer bet at minus 175. That's what I will lean you towards. Maybe don't get greedy and end up playing props here because it could go a number of ways for either girl, but especially Spencer. And I see her winning it at plus 315 submission. Not terrible because I do think she can get that sub. TKO plus 725, plus 750-ish. Her to win a decision. Plus 180, plus 200. But at the end of the day, Felicia Spencer straight at minus 170 is a decent play, but it's women's MMA, and it's women's featherweight MMA, which is the weirdest weight class in women's MMA at this point, or maybe outside of PFL's lightweight women's division. That's the weirdest one, but definitely a weird weight class, definitely a thin weight class. Felicia Spencer, in my opinion, towards the top of that weight class. Outside of Amanda Nunes in the UFC, there's really only Felicia Spencer and Norma Dumont. I got Felicia Spencer winning this fight. I think she gets a second round submission, maybe a sprinkle the submission play, or you just bet Felicia Spencer straight at the minus 170 price tag. The next bout is heavyweight action. Not necessarily the highest level of heavyweight action, but we do have heavyweight action. And that's why I don't think it makes sense that Edmund Shahbazian isn't in at least this spot versus Jack Hermansson. But they got Justin Tafa, Jared Vanderaa on the featured bout of the night. Tafa, knockout power in the hands, can go the distance as well as a pretty good striker. Vanderaa, a bit hittable inside from what I've seen. He's kind of got that plodding heavyweight style. I haven't necessarily been super impressed with Jared Vanderaa, but he's a big man at 6'4". He's a bit square too. Tafa, southpaw as well. That could be a problem. Decent kicks, power in the hands, knockout win for Justin Tafa. I think he wins inside the distance here. KO, I think first or second round. I'm going to pick first here. I think he gets inside and unloads some big punches on the chin of Jared Vanderaa, and he gets the knockout. Do I love the play on low-level heavyweights? Hell no, I really do not. What I will consider leading you towards, if you are going to play this fight, maybe fight does not go the distance at minus 260. Oh, it's worse. It's worse. I thought it was going to be better. I'm going to strive you away from that. If you want to play props, Tafa at plus 110. You can bet Tafa straight if you're feeling them, but I'm not going to give you that supreme confidence price tag. I would say it's a pretty likely outcome that he wins, but I do have to warn you guys, it's heavyweight MMA. It's lower level heavyweight MMA. Crazy shit happens, especially with two big dudes with that much pop. It could definitely go the way of Vanderaa if he lands a big strike. We've seen Tafa knocked out before. So kind of leaning you towards a fade the bet here or a riskier play on Tafa, and you're just looking to throw some down. Maybe you bet that fight doesn't go the distance. Let's see what we can bet here. Maybe you like under 2.5, under 1.5 at plus 107. Maybe Maybe. Bandera inside the distance plus 285. Tafa inside the distance plus 100. Not loving a lot of plays here. Maybe you bet Tafa straight. Maybe you bet the fight doesn't go the distance. Or maybe you just skip this fight altogether. I got Justin Tafa by knockout. So if you want to sprinkle the Tafa knockout prop, there might be some value there. But not my supreme confidence play. And did we look at them facing off already? No, we did not. Let's pull it up here. Face off doesn't really change anything. Both guys a little pudge in the midsection. Normal for him. I will say Tafa looks taller than listed here. Either Bandera might be shorter. Just gives me more confidence in Justin Tafa to win by knockout in this fight, and I think he wins it first or second round here. I like that first round knockout play, though. And let's get to it. The co-main event. We've already arrived at that co-main event. Smash the like button if you guys have not already. The goal is 90 likes on this video, and we're talking about it. Yan Exanon versus the Cookie Monster Carla Esparza, former world champion, very good wrestler. Is known for grinding these girls out. She'll take you down. She'll hold you down. You'll get back up and she'll take you down again. That is Esparza's style, and it's got her on a pretty solid 4-fight winning streak here. On the other side, Yan Exanon winning streak as well. Looking very good inside of the UFC. Her last fight was a win over Claudio. Granted, was put on her back a couple of times. I'm fearful of the wrestling here with Carla Esparza. But I do think the jab of Yan and the range management should probably make her win here. That sounds weird. She should probably get it done. But obviously, betting against Esparza, who's on a good streak, and that close money dog is probably never that good of an idea. So Yan Exanon, I'm going to pick her to win. But the play that I think has the most value, and hopefully it's not bet to hell at this point, fight goes the distance. At this point, it kind of is bet to hell at minus 325. I like fight goes the distance. The minus 325 still decent value, especially if you put it on some of your parlays. We'll talk about parlays towards the end of this video. I like that play. I like Yan Exanon. She's my pick here. I think she gets it done on a close decision, but Carla Esparza's wrestling could seriously be a problem. And at minus 325, fight goes to decision. That's not a bad play at all here. And that's the one that I like personally. Let's look at them facing off here. Esparza looks in incredible shape, as does her opponent. That height advantage should be a factor controlling range. I believe it will be. I believe we're going to see Yan Exanon move well and be hard to get a hold of, and that's why she'll win this fight. And if she does get taken down, I do think she'll work from the bottom and could potentially get back up to her feet. It could really be on who's judging the fight. It is dependent on who wins. So I think just bet the fight goes the distance here. Play it smart, but I am picking Yan Exanon to win this fight and be the next challenger for that world title. Now the next fight of the night, Rob Font versus Cody Garbrandt. It's actually the main event of the evening. Very close odds, pick'ems odds. Excellent matchup. Rob Font, good boxing, very good straight punching, a little bit hittable when you get real close inside of him, in that close punching range, that left hook range. Cody No Love Garbrandt's extremely dangerous when he gets inside. He closes distance extraordinarily well. He moves in and out of the pocket at a very high level. Cody Garbrandt is a dangerous striker with top-notch MMA boxing skills, like highest level you really can get. Now, his chin, I'm not going to say it's glass. What I'll say about Cody is he puts himself out of position at times, getting over-aggressive and getting emotional, and that's why you've seen him knocked out before. The guy gets emotional when he gets hit sometimes, and you can't get emotional in a fight, especially at this high-ass level. It's one thing if he's in a street fight and he blitzes somebody with hooks like he was doing to Munoz. It ain't going to necessarily work inside of the cage versus the best fighters in the world. Rob Font's a good kickboxer. He is susceptible to takedowns against some of the better wrestlers, but Cody Garbrandt's not really going to look to wrestle here. I mean, maybe he surprises us and shoots in a couple takedowns. Think it's unlikely. Font's never been knocked out. I do think Cody Garbrandt could be the guy to crack the chin. We've seen Font hurt before. Not necessarily badly, but has been stunned in the past. I think Cody No Love, guys. I'm going to be riding with our boy Cody No Love to get it done. I think he'll win by a knockout. I think he's on a good streak, and I think he's got a good thing going here. Looking at them face off, not much of a height difference. There's not much of a difference in anything besides that damn reach, man. 65.5 to 71.5, which from range, that jab of Rob Font will work well. But I believe Cody Garbrandt's boxing experience, 32-1 record as an amateur, it's going to carry him through here, guys. He gets the knockout in the second round, the first man to put down Rob Font. I liked Rob Font's performance against Marlon, but that was a shot Marlon Moraes. Not saying that he's not good. Rob Font has earned his keep and earned his way to the top. And if he wins this fight, there's no more arguing. But I think Cody Garbrandt still beats him, and I think he does so by a knockout here. My play, though, that I will put you at if you're looking to play this fight does not go the distance, minus 220. Under 3.5 rounds is minus 190. That would be my second pick here. But I like that fight does not go the distance at minus 280, minus 275, depending at where you're playing. That's what I'm going to lean you guys towards. I think that is the most value, and I think that is the most intelligent play you can make on this main event. You could bet Cody Garbrandt straight. You might as well bet Garbrandt by knockout at plus 230, though, if you're going to bet on either fighter, because I think Font could also get the KO at the plus 170. I like the inside the distance play. I'm picking Garbrandt to win this fight, and I do think the best play on this fight is going to be fight does not go the distance, minus 280. That is the value there. It's gotten more wide as the week has gone on, unfortunately. But now, next segment of this video, the final segment, the parlays to play. What are some of the parlays that still have value? Because there's got to be some, right? Even the night before the fights, there's still some value in these plays. There's still some things that I think we can cash on. So let's check out these parlays and let's lock up some fighters here. All right. So I think at this point, David Vorak has become a lock. And then I think Damir Ismagulov is another lock. So now, minus 231. That's decent value, right, to start off the night. And you want to add somebody else that I see the confidence in. I feel like the smart play, if your betting site allows it, I know not all of them do, but if you can potentially play a parlay and mix in the fight does not go the distance at minus 106, that is extraordinarily valuable, guys. That is an extreme value bet. The next one, Yannick Sinan versus Carla Esparza. Fight does go the distance. Minus 355, guys. Plus 149. Extremely valuable play here at this point. What else do we have here? What is something else that I can feel that confidence in? If you're a guy that bets women's MMA, which is honestly bites us in the ass. It bites a lot of people in the ass on a regular basis. Maybe you play Felicia Spencer, plus 296. She should definitely beat Norma Dumont here. But I'm going to take her off for you people that do not like to play with Felicia Spencer. I think Bruno Silva's a decent play at plus 216. That's good money now, guys. If you can parlay up the fight goes the distance and whatnot, I think that's the play. If not, I would just play these three fighters, Vorak, Ismagulov, and Bruno Silva. I think that's a money play. I think that's a safer play, and that's one that should really deliver for you. Now, if you're looking to get crazy, and we're going to take off the fight goes the distance plays just for some of you guys that aren't going to be able to bet that, but we will add them back in just a moment. But let me take them off first because I want to look at like the Mystic Mac play of the week. I'm going to say this is the Hail Mary of the parlays here. So we got Dvorak, Damir Ismagulov, and Silva. This right here is the money parlay. This is the safe play parlay. But if we're looking to take a little more risk and we really want to cash, add Felicia Spencer. You add in Ben Rothwell. And then who else do I feel like you add in? Josh Culibao. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus 424 money. That's very good money, guys. That's a lot of value, and that could really come out and deliver. If you're feeling Court McGee too, now you bring it to plus 900. Again, these are like the Mystic Mac plays. They're a lot more high risk. These are just more, you put a little something down for a big return back at you. I wouldn't throw your life savings on this one right here. Let's see if there's anybody else I feel comfortable adding in. If you're looking to add a dog, add Shahbazian, plus 135. You're now looking at plus 2,249. That is some crazy, crazy odds. But we're gonna reset this, and we're gonna just be doing it like the best plays, period, including those fight goes the distance plays. I'm looking for minimum plus 1,000 money for the Hail Mary play here. That was the Hail Mary of just fighters. This is the Hail Mary of all plays available, which honestly, if you can play it like this, it's going to be a lot better for you guys. But I know some of these sites are not going to allow you to do so. All right, let's see. Fight goes the distance. Fight does not go the distance. Minus 135. Now, if we add in David Dvorak, Damir Ismagulov, we're at plus 149. Bruno Silva, plus 216. If you add in Kulabayo, so let's say all things go well for you at plus 345 for this play here. But you do have to worry because that's a fair amount of fights, and there's going to be 4 fights that you need to win. And at the end of the day, the fight game is a crazy one. Out of all those listed, I think Culibao has the most risk of defeat. So if you want to take him out, I'd completely understand that. Maybe you play Shahbazian at plus 135 to bring it to plus 642, but I'm going to take him out for now. I'm going to put Culibao back in, and I'm going to really see who am I going to play as that money play, as that as that final one, as the one to bring us to the high money. I feel like Felicia Spencer, guys. Even though it's women's MMA, I feel like she's gonna beat Norma Dumont. I just haven't been impressed with Norma Dumont necessarily. Against Ashley Evans Smith, she looked okay, but I haven't been extremely impressed. Now, who else do we add to this play that I think can really bring us in that true green money, the true positive? You're gonna be taking risks now if you do this here, but if you're allowed to play this, you could add that fight doesn't go the distance play, or you could just do the or not. Honestly, fight doesn't go the distance. Plus 878, but it could go the distance, which makes me fearful. It's going to be hard late in the week to get yourself a real money play here. You can get Rothwell on there to bring it to plus 811. Maybe we bring in Court McGee, too, at the close money to bring us to plus 1639. So if we have to do the Hail Mary parlay and we're doing something that's not going to be recommended, but if you want to play it, this is where I'm going to lean you towards. I think there's some value, and there's some high possibility. You're looking at plus 1,639. Main event doesn't go to decision. The co-main does. Vorak is a Magulov, Silva, Culibao, Spencer, Rothwell, and Court McGee. Plus 1,639. But at the end of the day, if you guys are looking to cash and play it smart, I would lean you towards more of those 2-3 fight parlays. Maybe if you can do that inside the distance bet for the main and parlay that up with the co-main and Esparza, then maybe you add Ismagulov and David Dvorak, or Ismagulov and Silva, or Ismagulov, Silva, and Dvorak. But keep it smart, keep it safe, guys. Exciting card. I'm really looking forward to it. We'll be doing the full card live fight companion and play-by-play here on the MMA Experts channel, so make sure you guys tune in for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this weigh-in recap, predictions, and full card betting breakdown video. Make sure you guys smash that like button. As I said, goal on this video, 90 likes. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here. Covering all things MMA over here at MMA Experts. You can follow my social media too, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And I will see you all in the next video.